Hey, shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakai Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone for teaching this truth according to the Bible. A sincere shalom to all the fellow laborers who push this truth and believe in this truth here in the last days in Babylon the Great, as we are called to do so. And today's video is going to be real quick. I just wanted to comment on and land back a couple of brothers that made videos talking about this situation that was going down in Garry, Indiana. Really, it was a few cities in northwest Indiana. It's not too far from where I live. It was right outside of not too far from Chicago, and from the southern border of Michigan. So apparently what was going on was that the entire region, had lost power due to some storms or some tornadoes or something like that. And it left a few cities that had absolutely no power whatsoever. We're talking all the businesses, all the residents, all the schools, no power whatsoever. So people were stuck in their homes without power for over a week. Okay, it was like 8 days. Okay, and apparently I believe yesterday or last night, some power utility companies were able to restore power to a significant portion. There's still people that are without power now, but they are going to turn the power back on. The reason why I'm making this video is because the prophets have been telling, Jake, which Garry, Indiana, everybody knows that Northwest Indiana is known for having a whole lot of Judah, places like Garry. It's not too far from Chicago. So that whole area of the country, that Midwest, southern tip of Lake Michigan, that's all Jake right there. And, the reason why I'm making this video is because the prophets have warned of things like this that are going to come to pass. All right. Now, this, it looks like it's going to be resolved. All right. And, I've been hearing stories of people that were, within the 7 days, there was already starting to be a ramp up in crime and robberies and murders. Because once people don't have that resource of electricity, they will resort to violence to get the things that they need. All right. And, this just goes to show you that the warning that we are sending out, this is a prophetic warning that is mentioned in the scriptures. You should already know what chapter I'm going to go to. I'm going to go to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, because really that chapter goes into the collapse that we're about to experience. There's other chapters in the scriptures as well. You got, Daniel 12:1. These people down there in Garry, Indiana, and the surrounding area that lost power, what they experienced was a very small little taste, of what it's going to be like for the entire nation. As a matter of fact, it's going to be like that for a lot of places on planet Earth. But since we're specifically focusing on Babylon the Great, they got a little taste of what it's going to be like for a lot of people. Let's get this in 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. And let's just go ahead and start from the top, because the Lord, he specifically told us that when these calamities come, he's going to be laughing at the people that are in distress. He's going to be laughing at the people that did not take heed to the warning of the prophets. This is why we make these videos, really mainly to edify the elect, but also so that we can have ourselves covered. Any brothers that got children, hopefully they're covered as well. All right. But, ultimately at the end of the day, the Heavenly Father is only giving this truth to a specific number of people that are going to be able to understand and receive it. All right, so let's just go here in 2nd Ezra 15:1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord." That's our job. We've told you that there's going to be power outages. There's going to be shortages on fuel. There's going to be violence in the streets. There's going to be no way for you people to survive in a conventional manner. All right. This is what's going to cause these purge-like scenarios. All right. It says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And one thing we know about Gary, okay? One thing we know about Chicago, one thing we know about Northwest Indiana, one thing we know about Jake in general is they are not looking for the Lord. They don't believe in the word of the prophets. Okay, the Lord told Ezekiel that this is a stiff-necked and hard-headed people. Okay, and they're not going to listen to the prophecies. Okay, we go out on every weekend. We go out, all right, and we stand on the street corners and we declare the truth. Yet Jake will walk by and not even pay attention. Okay, they don't care. All right, and it's not our job to make them care. It's our job to declare the truth no matter what. Verse 5, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Okay, in that blackout, you had the sword, which is the modern day sword, is the gun. You had people getting ready to starve because imagine 7 days, your food in your fridge is going bad. You ain't got no more grocery stores because they can't get resupplied. Gas stations are closed. Death. I'm not sure what the death toll is. That might come out later, but I'm sure there's plenty of people that are no longer on the planet. Okay, there's plenty of people that probably went to the spirit world just in those 8 days. Okay, it says, and destruction. For wickedness had exceedingly polluted the earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. Jake is down there committing adultery. Jake is down there committing witchcraft. Jake is down there worshiping idols. Jake is down there blaspheming the name of the Lord. Jake is down there ignoring and specifically Gary, because I know for a fact that there is a camp of brothers in GMS that is actually in Gary. Okay, I'm gonna have to check out their channel and see what they were saying about it. But so those people down there have heard the message that of who they are. They're the Israelites. Okay, we're in America because we're serving our captivity. All right, and we're being punished by the Lord. Okay, it's almost time for our punishment to be up. But in order for that, the kingdom of heaven to come to pass, there's going to be one last time of turmoil. Okay, trouble for our nation, known as Jacob's trouble. They've all heard it. Okay, and guess what? They've scoffed at it. All right, so the people that are going to be put to death are the ones that truly the Lord ain't dealing with. 2/3. Okay, and we're not concerned with the 2/3. All right, we're only concerned with the elect. It says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And every time we make these videos, every time we watch videos, every time we read, every time we go out on the highways and the byways, we're always complaining to the Lord, okay, in our spirits, because we want to get out of here. We wish that this was the real deal, like this was the main event where the whole nation would just collapse. But it's probably not going to turn out to be that. As a matter of fact, I believe this probably was a test for Esau to see how the people react to a power outage or a blackout. And he's probably got whatever information or whatever data he wanted to collect, and he's going to turn the power back on. Okay. And but you best believe this is going to happen again, and it's going to happen again at a massive scale. Okay, so what you need to do to prepare is to repent, turn toward Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakakwadash, okay, and hope that the Lord is with you in these last days, because that's really all you can do. All right, those who are slotted to make it through this time, okay, they've already been predestinated. And those who are slotted to be destroyed during this time, they've already been predestinated. Okay, there's nothing anyone can do. So let's go to this video real quick, and we'll just start here. By the way, fair use. Okay, under the Copyright Act of 1971. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, educational purposes only. This is fair use. All right, I don't want to get no strikes.
Garry, Indiana, buildings and homes are still without power 1 week after a historic tornado blew through the state. As of this morning, the local utility provider, NIPSCO, has restored power to 282,000 customers, but more than 83,000 businesses and homes remain in the dark due to the storm that tore across northwest Indiana on August 11th, packing winds near 100 miles an hour. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, approximately 51,600 to 52,000 black residents live in the city, making up roughly 76% of Gary's total population. NIPSCO expects to restore 100% of power by Friday, but it's not just power, it's also food and other needs. Joining us right now is Gary Councilman at Large, Miles Tolliver. Councilman, glad to have you on the show. This has been almost 8 days. That is, listen, that's a lot of people to deal with. Listen, I'm from Houston. I've lived through various hurricanes. I've actually lived through 3 hurricanes, knocking our power for almost 2 to 3 weeks. That is not a good thing when you talk about in this heat.
Absolutely, absolutely. I first want to thank you for bringing attention to Garry, Indiana, and allowing for.
And one thing I might add, I just want to say this, is that the reason why they've had no power for 8 days is specific, and this is why it's people are taking notice now, is because there's no reason why they should have been without power for 8 days. Okay, this was a tornado or whatever. I forget what he said it was, a windstorm or a tornado. These utility companies know how to handle these type of things. All right. Apparently FEMA, which is supposed to respond to disasters like this, apparently didn't reach their threshold of severity for them to respond. But people are complaining because they were left without power for so long and it seemed like nobody cared. Well, of course, nobody cares because it's Jake. Okay, it's a bunch of niggas. All right. Nobody really gives a fuck, okay, about you niggas down there. All right. And you know what? They shouldn't either. You know why? Because you Jakes down there, I know how you get down. Okay. Especially in Gary. Gary is the fucking shithole. All right. Nothing but a bunch of backward, two-timing, two-facing, wannabe gangster ass niggas down there. Okay. And they're getting judgment right now. And that's why nobody really, wanted to respond to this. And Esau was using them as a guinea pig to test out his new plans. All right. So that's why this is getting attention, because people are kind of upset that it took so long for them to get power back.
Me to be on. Please excuse my attire. It's been all hands on deck at our shelter here in the great city of Garry, Indiana, where we are feeding residents around the clock and making sure they have the necessities that they need during the displacement at this time.
What are your needs? What do you need for people who are watching and listening?
Well, to be frank with you, Roland, in full transparency, our residents need they need help when it comes to our seniors that are on the third.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have let's get into scriptures. You're gonna have senior citizens getting smoked by the Lord. All right, the Lord doesn't care how old you are. All right. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 9. Okay. Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. It says, "And the Lord Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof." And we know that the Lord, okay, has protection over the brothers, the true and sincere brothers that may be down in that area. Okay, I don't know if they were directly in that power outage, but we know that there's a camp down there that's nearby. All right. So those brothers are protected by the angels of the Lord, by the angels of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, it says of the men that sigh and that cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, and to the others he said, in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old. Okay, so you're talking about senior citizens. Oh yeah, you're gonna have senior citizens rotting in their little apartments, man, in their little senior citizen homes. They're gonna die from dehydration. They're gonna die from not being able to call 911 when they fall in the bathtub. Okay, you're gonna have a whole lot of senior citizens getting laid out by the Lord. Okay, it says utterly old and young. So you're gonna have little babies, man. Little babies about to get mashed up by the Lord. Okay, see, these judgments that we talk about and that we read about, they ain't no joke, man. Okay, people really don't, especially in America. I say it a lot, but in America, the people over here in the West are soft and weak. They really have no concept of really what judgment is like at a mass scale. Okay, over there in the Middle East, over in third world countries, they got a little bit more grit to them because death is a part of their daily lives. Okay, death is more common. Okay, and gruesome deaths are more common. But in the United States, everything's on the TV, everything's on the television show. Okay, everything's on social media. Okay, and they're desensitized to the reality of the nature of what they're about to experience. Okay, so that's why it's going to be even worse when it actually comes for real, because these people are not going to be able to have any type of discipline, any type of mental fortitude to be able to handle the atrocities and the devastation that the Heavenly Father Yahweh, through His only begotten Son Yahushai, is gonna cast, okay, upon this land. All right, like it said in 2 Ezra 15, okay, plagues are sent forth. All right, it says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. So if you in this truth, you calling yourself an Israelite and you ain't right, you gonna be one of the first ones to get got. Okay, this is why every day I pray for mercy from the Lord, man. Okay, every day I strive to make sure that I'm staying on the right path, the straight and narrow. Because listen, we ain't make it on the chariot yet. The brothers and elders always remind, we got to stay humble because we didn't make it on the chariot yet. Okay. Now, you got to balance it. You should have confidence that you're of the elect. You should have that confidence, but you can't just have an unfounded confidence that you're of the elect without doing no works, without having no faith. Okay. Without something to show for it. Okay. Do you know that, the answer to the questions that Elder Apostle Gabar asks all the time? Do you know the name of the Lord? Have you been doing the work? Okay. What is Babylon the Great in the scriptures? Who is the enemy of the Israelites? Who is Esau Edom today? Okay. Answer the questions that need to be answered so that you know in your mind that you got the truth. Okay. And if so, what is your true belief? Be honest with yourself. Do you truly believe in the things that are being brought out by the prophets? Do you truly believe that? Okay. And that's up to every individual to answer for themselves. All right. Let's go back to this video.
Floor that don't have power, that haven't been down since Tuesday. We've been running meals up to them every day around the clock. I'm grateful that NIPSCO has restored some of our senior citizen buildings, but at this time we just need
ain't gonna be no meals, man. Ain't gonna in Jacob's trouble. Ain't gonna be no meals, right? It ain't gonna be no people helping each other out, right? Bringing up food and gasoline and checking on them. No, they just gonna die in the house. They just gonna die in the house, and it ain't gonna be for 7 days or 8 days. Try months, months. Okay. Months of no power. How about that? Months of grocery stores not being stocked. Months of gas stations being closed down. All right, that's when you're going to see the real death. Okay? Let's get this. Famine is a very common judgment that the Lord brings. Okay? Let's get... Where was it? Where was I reading the other day? Yeah, 2 Kings. Yeah, 2 Kings. All right. What the Lord did to the northern tribes when they was going off. All right. It says, this is 2 Kings 6:24. It says, and it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up to besiege Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria. Why is there a famine in Samaria? Because the northern tribes were going off, just like the southern tribes are going off in that region of northwest Indiana. It says, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and a fourth part of a calf's a fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. So they were selling dead animals and bird shit for food, man. That's gonna, and the Lord, go to Daniel 12:1 real quick. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince was standing for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So what I just read in 2 Kings 6, it's going to be even worse than that. People going to be selling dog shit for money, man, to eat. You know, you're going to find roadkill on the side of the road, and you might sell that to somebody that's hungry, you know, or you might eat it yourself. Things are about to get real messy out here. Okay. And these scoffers and these mockers, right? Okay. They don't really believe in the judgments that are coming. See, the prophets of Great Millstone are the only ones that are warning you of the times to come. Christians definitely ain't doing it. And the other Hebrew Israelite camps definitely ain't warning you about Jacob's trouble that's about to smack these people upside the head, man. Okay? So listen to the prophets of the Great Millstone, starting with Elder Apostle Haron down, and the like-minded brothers that teach the 100% truth, because we're the ones really telling you what you need to prepare for. Okay? And who to call on in the time of trouble, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay?
Really just packs where we can get things of shampoo, toothpaste, any type of hygiene things, and any supplies that we can get for cleaning out the houses at this time.
Okay, so if folks want to support, where are they sending the stuff to? Who's coordinating it? Where they can actually, let's say if there are people who have vehicles or trucks or things along those lines, where can they drive stuff to?
So if they want to bring something, they can bring it down here to Gary City Hall. We will have somebody here. Again, they've been working around the clock. I want to definitely be grateful to our administration. They have been working around the clock, and you could want to tell you too, Roland, man, a disaster.
If the first thing you do in the morning is...
Let's get something real quick. I was watching this short. See if I can find it again.
We know why they not coming out here, though.
Now, okay, look at these 2 Israelite women from the tribe of Judah, most likely. All right, look at these 2 Israelite women. They still got their hair done, right? They still got makeup on. She took time to put her nose ring in, the one in the pink. Okay, covered in tattoos, right? So these Israelite women, okay, they don't know what's going on, and they're gonna be they're gonna be mashed up by the Lord. Okay, the Lord said they probably took showers. Even it might have been a cold shower, but they probably took showers. They still got their little hygiene products. Now the Lord said He's gonna take all that away. All right, I'm gonna read it in Isaiah 3. Let's let this play real quick.
I mean, it's obvious, you know. It's obvious. Gary is full of, you know, us.
The one in the pink looks like a demon, but you know there's a nigga out there that will impregnate that. There's a nigga out there that will mess with these two dogs right here. Okay?
Not really diversity, but it's full of black people. Yeah. You know, we the blackest
Israelites
out here, so they don't want to check on us.
Yeah. They're NIPSCO. Everybody pays them. We don't pay, we get cut off. But when disaster happens, they want to charge us X amount of dollars, but we already paying into this. They got billions, trillions of dollars. We working day to day on paychecks. So yes, they could have did better. They got the money. We don't got the money. They say they supposed to maintenance that yearly. They haven't been out here in a year or 2, maybe 3 years. I can't sleep.
Yeah, because they don't mess with Jake, man. Listen, let's get Isaiah 3 real quick and we'll close out. Because you women, when these lights go out, hey, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Isaiah 3. Slack, yeah. Genesis, what? Isaiah. I don't know what I was doing. Isaiah 3. Okay. Isaiah 3:16. Moreover, the Lord Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go and making a twinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. That's why they got to wear that weave, all that alopecia going around. All right. And the Lord Yahweh will discover their secret parts. It says, in that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments. Yeah, these women ain't gonna have no earrings. You ain't gonna have no nose rings, no fucking bull rings. You know, all them piercings on your face. You know, it says about their feet and their calls, and their round tires like the moon. Yeah, they ain't gonna have no fucking the BBLs and the fucking breast implants and all that shit ain't gonna mean shit. Okay, probably gonna start stinking in the time of Jacob's trouble, and men are gonna try to avoid you. All right. It says the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers and the bonnets, right? And the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings and the rings and the nose jewels. That's right. That's that bull ring right there. And the changeable suits of apparel, all them clothes and all that. What was going on over there?
We know why they not
All
coming
that, the
out
purses.
here
Look, they both got necklaces and purses and face piercings, and their hair is done and pulled up and all that. That the Lord's gonna do away with all that, man. No more makeup. The Lord's gonna take away all of that. These women are gonna be exposed for the demons that they are, man. They're really not attractive. They're not attractive anyway. I don't find these women attractive. You know, I'm really not partial to the so-called black woman anyway. I never have been. Okay. But, you know, some brothers, you know, you got your preference, and, you know, it's nothing wrong with that. But in particular, these two women right here, I don't find them particularly attractive. And imagine in the time of Jacob's trouble, when they ain't got no more makeup, no more showers, no more toothpaste, right? No more deodorant, no more feminine hygiene, no more tampons or whatever they call that shit. They'll be bleeding, stinking, and looking ugly and shit. No more weave, bald headed, right? You ain't gonna get your edges done. Okay, these women are about to be out here in a bad way. Okay, let Garry Indiana serve as a warning. All right. It says the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins and the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. Okay. It says, and it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink. There shall be stink. Okay? instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Yeah. I mean, the Lord about to fuck you women up, and these men too. These men are about to get fucked up too, but these men are just gonna die, man. They're just gonna die. Okay, by the sword that I read in 2 Ezra 15. Okay, in a pestilence. So, with that, hey, this is another warning, man. Okay, get right, repent, because the Lord is about to make this thing for real. Okay, he's about to do this thing for real. So, I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Kwadash, Shalom.